And we are live.
Woo.
So listen, thank you guys for joining us on the Marriage Counsel UK. I want to welcome you. You know what this channel is about. If you are looking to support your relationship or your prospect of relationship, if you've been married, divorced, single, or if you are married, divorced, single, dating, this channel is for you because we're helping people navigate that journey of relationships. We're helping people make sense of where they need to be, where they are, where they've been. And I know we're going to look at some of that where we've been today. This is the channel. This is the platform. Thank you for subscribing. It's helping us to do what we have to do here for you. I'm Curtis. You guys know me, married how many decades? You know what I mean? And I'm here with our friend Kelly, who I'm going to let her introduce herself. Don't hold back though, Kelly.
Don't hold back, he says.
We're looking at the topic of communication and how to get your needs met. How to get your needs met. And so I'm going to hand you over to Kelly. She's just going to give us a little bit of, she's going to blow her own trumpet for a moment. And if she don't blow it loud enough, I'll blow it for her.
Oh, Curtis, you're too kind. Well, hi guys. My name is Kelly Broderick, and I am an integrative therapist. Integrative meaning using lots of different types of modalities and different ways of helping individuals and couples to get the best of themselves by delving deep within themselves and, you know, talking about things that, you know, may be really uncomfortable, things that you might not even be aware of, dealing with past traumas, dealing with relationship issues on many different, you know, in many different ways, you know. So I work with individuals and couples. I do a lot of work around trying to understand your past, because your past has a lot to do with your present and your future.
Yeah.
It may mean understanding patterns of behavior, maybe through family trees, you know, in your family history. You know, maybe is it serving you? If it's not serving you, what can you do to change and to live a better life? So I do a lot of that work. So I've counselling quite a lot of people. I've been counselling now roughly for about coming up to 5 years now. I've been counselling. I have a little private practice. I've got a little Instagram page, Inner Transitions. If you ever wanted to hit me up, you can DM me, email me, and, you know, we can have a conversation about maybe what it is that you need. If I can't help you, I have to be really honest. We can't do everything. I do have a group of other counselors and therapists around me who I will make recommendations to also. So that's me.
Lovely. You blew your trumpet really well. It's not easy to do. and officially, just to confirm, you and I now work in the same field now.
We do. Yes, we do. Yes.
We work in, without being too specific, we work in family services, should we call it?
Yeah, let's say family services, children and families.
Oh man.
For local authorities, yes.
Yeah. And we then, after all what we do, we've got to deal with our own.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
It's no joke. Let me throw something at you, because every time I have a conversation, in fact, if someone calls me after a show and says, I need to talk to you, Curtis, I'm having trouble. 95% of the time it's a woman asking for help. Actually, it's actually decreased, probably about 80% now, over the last, say 3 months, is women. Although quite a few young guys calling through now saying they just want to be the best they can be for their partner. But for me, the number one reason why someone might call through is communication, and they whisper it, communication, you know. And so many studies, let me see if I've got one here. The studies are showing that, here we go, a new survey. This is with HuffPost. Another survey, when was this done? It's a few years old now. Another survey was conducted and it says that communication problems were cited as the most common factor that leads to divorce. That's 65% of the reason why relationships fail is because of communication.
Absolutely.
And what does that mean? And actually, you're going to give us a nice little spin on this before I hand over to you. It's how to get your needs met. And you've got 3 tips for us to get our needs met as couples. Yeah. And I'm handing over to you. I mean, break down, where do you want to start with this?
I guess we have to kind of start, you know, maybe if I just do give a bit of an overview in terms of some of the typical kind of, when I say typical, I mean some of the most common things that people might say when they might talk to their friends, or maybe if, you know, I have lots of individuals that might come for individual therapy that might be in a relationship, in a marriage with somebody. And one of the most common statements that I hear is, my partner does not understand me.
Wow.
My partner doesn't understand me, and my partner doesn't understand my needs. And, you know, you kind of think, ooh, this is a subject that comes up quite often. And also as well, it isn't just restricted to like romantic relationships, intimate relationships. It also, you know, extends out to relationships with people, work, family, friends, things like that. But obviously we're specifically talking about intimate relationships.
Right.
So one of the things that I generally ask when I hear that statement is, well, what are your needs? And sometimes people are then stunned into silence because maybe they haven't quite grasped or even quite explored what their needs are within the confines of a relationship.
That's interesting. So, initially or naturally, what I would look at with communication is the other person isn't hearing me.
Yes.
But you're saying, let's go before that.
Let's go before that. Before we can go to anybody else, let's look at ourselves. And because the relationship with yourself first is the most important relationship before you then bring somebody else into relationship with you. You need to get an understanding of what it is that, you know, what you require within a relationship, you know, what your needs are, what makes you tick, what makes you happy. You need to understand that first so you can then communicate that to your partner.
Yeah.
You know, so there's usually like the old cliche of, you know, oh, I want a man who, and I'm saying specifically, I want a man, just as an example. Okay. So it may be the kind of thing where I need a man who's going to be able to take control, take charge of, you know, of the household, the relationship, you know, use his initiative. You know, I want to be able to rely on him.
Yeah.
I will need to be able to, I need to be able to lean on him so that I'm not carrying all the burden myself. And then I will then go back to, well, what does that look like specifically? Because we can say those words, I need a man to be a man, or I need a man who can understand me. I need a man who's gentle. I need a man who I don't have to talk, you know, I don't have to necessarily tell him what's up. He knows what's up with me and he knows what makes me happy. But I would say, well, hold on a second. Do you know what you need? Do you know what you need in a relationship? And again, what does that look like?
You know, whilst we're on this, that is interesting because you made me think. When someone says, for example, I want a protector.
Yes.
And things like that. The question I would ask is, what do you mean?
Exactly. What does that actually mean for you?
What do you want?
Because
Muscles? You want him to be a boxer? What do you
this is
want?
it.
Want him to be
Because
aggressive? Yeah.
Because when we're using language like I want a protector, for example, I want a man that's understanding. I want a man that can lead. I want,
Deep.
what that may look like to me could be completely different to my partner. So have we actually had a conversation about what my needs are and how does he specifically go about it? What is it? What exactly am I talking about? You have to break things down. You have to boil things down to the bare bones, and then you build from there. And that's where you have to really get a really good sense of what it is that you need. What do you mean by that? What does that mean for you? How does it make you feel? And that's really important. And it's interesting that you read that the statistics from Huffington Post, which obviously is a few years old, but I would be really interested to see what the survey would say after Corona. You know what I mean, where lots of couples have had to spend significant amounts of time together that they've never spent, before. What would it then look like then? Because obviously being at home together is going to require a significant amount of communication in order to be able to even coexist in one space. So what are your needs? What does it look like?
In reality. No, let me not take you off topic. But I guess it is important to understand if you have a concept of your needs and reality. So if you want a protector, is that someone you want to be protecting you all the time? Do you want a confrontational guy? Do you want a guy that's showing you levels of protectionism, protection, or protective characteristics that eventually could be turning you off because it can be overbearing? Do you know what it looks like in reality? What you're asking? Because obviously what you're saying is sometimes what's coming out of our mouth hasn't even been conceived or processed properly by our own selves.
Absolutely. Because let's use the example of I want a protector. You said what kind of protector you need? Somebody that's physically strong, aesthetically pleasing, and goes to the gym every day, every couple of days, and he walks around like Johnny Bravo, will box up anybody if they try to move to you mad or a bit reckless. Nobody can step to you because he's there. Doesn't allow you to talk, doesn't allow, no, I'll take control. What does it look like? Is it somebody who you would like to be able to, when you're walking down the street, that gives you that hug that makes you feel all safe and secure and I feel protected? Or that man who, he listens to you and he understands where some of your insecurities are. So what he then does is he ensures that he covers that so that nobody else is able to come and take advantage of you. So for example, you might have particular family members that, you may find that they want to take from you. And because your partner knows that that might be an area of insecurity or an area that's been recognized as actually this is an area of development, he may, say, actually, no, she can't do this. So he's actually protecting you, and that's the thing. What does a protector look like? Does a protector look like, if there's a mouse in the house, that they're the ones that's going to deal with it and you don't have to deal with it, A protector could mean he comes shopping with you and he carries all the shopping bags and you never have to worry about it, or deals with the car or the bills. Protection or protector means different things to different people.
Right.
And you have to really get an understanding as to what does that then look like for you? How does it look like for you? What is it that you need protection for?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. You've gone deep
that's
now.
just one example, and that's just one example.
You've gone deep now, because what do you want that for? What do you want it for? And I guess, look, guys, just to be clear, we're still on the topic of communication. And look how deep you have to go to understand what we're talking about. What do you want? What do you want that romance for? What do you want that protection for? Why do you want that image? Why do you want all that muscle, that bravado? What do you want? And none of it's bad, Kelly. We're not saying it's bad.
No, not at all. It is what it is. It's just, are you aware enough to know what it is for you that you feel that you need, you know? And you know, these are very, very kind of like important things that we need to be able to get very, very clear in our mind, you know, about, you know, how we then understand that, how we make peace with it, because some of it could be, as you know, can make you feel, hold on a second, I feel needy. Yeah. So for example, you know, protection could, you know, when we're looking at society today, so if we look at the role of women in particular, and like I said, I'm being very general, and I'm using these as just particular examples to just illustrate my point. But like a lot of, you know, society kind of shows us, and what we've seen throughout the years, especially in the Black community, is women can do it all and they don't need a man. They go to work, they can study, they can take care of the children, they can buy a house and pay their mortgage, pay for their car, you know, and sometimes they can make more money than their partner. Do you know what I mean? That's the kind of society we're living in. Yeah. And again, we have to try and understand context, because also as well, part of the work that I do is trying to understand your childhood, your blueprint. What did your parents teach you? How did you see your parents relate? Your grandparents, you know, all those important figures in your life that plays a part in, you know, drawing of the blueprint of your life in terms of what your expectations are. So, you know, so obviously, so if you feel that for you personally, that you're, one of the things that you really enjoy, one of the things that really makes you tick within a relationship is, do you know something? I want to be able to feel comfortable to ask my partner for help and be okay, and not feel as though I'm the damsel in distress and I can't manage, for example.
Wow.
And that's a hard one, you know, because these are the things that you may have to come to terms with and may have to, you know, be at peace with, that actually that's who I am. You know, you may be a corporate boss.
Yeah.
You know, 9 to 5 working, you're out here, you know, smashing it, you know, professionally. But then in a relationship, you don't want to be the boss. You want to kind of kick back a little bit. You want to give space for your partner to also, you know, it's not a fight. It's not you know, he's in charge of everything and I'm just the underling. No, it's, you know, everybody has, you know, some people excel in some areas and some people don't excel in other areas. It's okay. It's about how do you complement each other and give each other space without feeling as though that you're being seen less, you know, less than, you know. Everybody takes an equal role within the relationship, but roles will be different, you know, and that's okay. That's perfectly fine.
Something that comes to mind as you were talking about understanding your needs was that the question could be asked: can your needs ever be met if you don't know what they are? And what is an interesting fact is that we can have a relationship as long as forever, and the same arguments will come up all because, not in all cases, but all because we've never really connected on the issue that is behind the curtain of it all. And so my responsibility, and I think this first point points to taking responsibility for what understanding yourself. Absolutely. So that you can articulate that.
Also, as well, as you were talking, because that's a very important point that you made in terms of taking responsibility, recognizing that your partner cannot fulfill all your needs. And this is where you have to get very, very clear in your mind about what is your responsibility of making yourself happy versus what is it that you want your partner to, to kind of meet the need within the confines of a relationship, because your partner can't meet every need. It's not their responsibility to meet all of your needs, to meet all of your unmet needs that you may not have had met when you were a child, which was the responsibility of your parents.
Yeah.
You then can't expect your partner to then take up that role of your parent to meet those needs that weren't met when you were a child. Absolutely. And you have to, again, it's about getting very, very clear within yourself. Okay, what is it that I feel that I need to thrive within a relationship?
Yeah.
And what are my needs that I need to give myself?
Wow.
And that's where you have to be able to, it's almost like, sorting the wheat from the chaff, separating the wheat from the chaff in your life. And that's a very, very important thing, because sometimes what we can do is we can place all the expectation on our partners to give us everything.
Yeah.
It's not their role. And the same way they can't put that on you either.
Yeah. Married, divorced, dating, single. This is knowledge for everyone right now. What about the second point? I know you got 3 for us, right? What's the second thing that we need to look at, deal with, acknowledge, be aware of, be conscious of for our communication?
It's about being able to verbalize that to your partner. And that is...
I've been screaming it for years, Kelly. Like, she's not listening. She's not listening. No. She's not understanding me.
He doesn't understand me, he doesn't understand me. She doesn't understand me. She doesn't get me. Now, what I would say is, and I normally have a signature statement that I normally will say to some of my couples that I work with, is it's almost like you're communicating in different languages. So one speaking German and the other one is speaking Spanish. Nobody is able to understand each other, but everybody's making noise as far as they're concerned, and they don't understand me.
Yeah.
Sometimes we can get very distracted with the noise that's being made, as opposed to what is beneath what's being said or not being said.
Now, look, we both speak English, right? Let's hypothetically use Curtis and Juanita.
Okay.
Guys, I'm always saying hypothetically. So Juanita and I both speak English. What could I be missing? I've been telling her this one thing. I don't know. I don't like her tone of voice. I don't like maybe her. I've been saying to her from a long time now that I just need to be by myself at times.
Okay.
She's not getting it.
She's not getting it.
No.
Okay. What does being by yourself mean for you?
I just like my own space.
Okay.
I like my own space. Like I've had a day at work. I like my own space. I like to chill down. But what she doesn't do, she doesn't give me that space.
Okay. Okay. So have you been able to communicate to her that when you come home from work, can you give it a time limit? That you just need a little bit of time just to calm yourself down and to ground yourself before you can then, lunge into, how was your day, honey? And those kind of things in terms of connecting with each other. Have you been able to, communicate that to her in terms of what it is that you need when you come home from work?
No. I mean, I thought that telling her that I need that space was sufficient. I mean, I was expecting her to just respect the fact that it's been a long day. I need that space. Like, just give me some time to.
Okay. So when you're telling her, can you not just understand that I just need my space? What do you think you're communicating to her by saying that, and by those actions? What do you think she might pick up from that?
What she could pick up from that is, I don't want to talk to her, and that I'm annoying her, and that she's intruding.
Okay. It's quite possible. Is that, have you had a discussion about it? Have you spoken to her about it in terms of, when you do go away, have you asked her how it makes her feel?
I've never asked her.
It'd be interesting to find out if what she actually says to you, how those actions, what kind of thoughts and feelings that it conjures up in her. It would be really interesting to, to find that out, because that will then probably give you a bit of a, a little bit of
insight
into how she's receiving your communication that you need time by yourself when you come in from work.
That was a nice little role play, man. It felt real. It felt real. And I guess as much as we're talking to each other, been 20 odd years now, as much as we're talking, there's gaps in knowledge. And sometimes even noise. Like, she's never heard me. I haven't actually told her what I need her to hear from the root. She only has partial understanding of what I'm saying.
Okay.
Going by your little kind of therapy on me right there, she would only have partial understanding of what I'm trying to say. And it's shocking, because it could be years before that is understood, unless someone does what you've just done to me. That can happen. So
this is kind of some of the work that I do with a lot of my couples, and what it is I'm almost like a translator between a couple. So you're saying one thing, she's saying another thing, but the two of you are you're not understanding each other's experience. You're not understanding it. You can't, you're not in the place to be able to empathize, or to even have, a moment to reflect,
And what do you mean by reflecting in that time, or in general?
Well, so what I took, so let's just go back to that role play that you did. You said, as soon as you get in from work, for you, it's really difficult for you to jump straight in, that you just need just a bit of time to yourself. Just to almost kind of like ground yourself. Try to kind of process things that maybe you haven't had an opportunity to process during the day. And I just need a bit of time when I come in. And then once I've had that moment of time, then I can get involved. It's like people that are not morning people. They can't communicate. They can't talk to you in the morning, because they're just not awake. They're not there yet, So sometimes you step back and allow them to have their moment. And then by 10 o'clock, they're talking the the hind legs off a donkey. Do you know what I mean? It's like they're awake. But it's about not personalizing it. So if I understand that you just need, even if it's just half an hour, this is why I was asking you, do you put a time limit on it? Could you say, you know what, give me half an hour? Or some people might go and do things like, I need to take a shower, or they go to the bathroom, or they go to the bedroom for a little bit. And that's fine. As long as I understand that you just need a little bit of time out, but you haven't abandoned me. You're coming back. You just need to process. It's been a long day, and you know what I mean? As long as I know, then you know how to manage it. You then learn to not take it personal and think, He just doesn't want to talk to me.
Mm.
I've had a long day as well, but I want to talk about it, and I'm happy to see him. And it may not necessarily mean that he's not happy to see you, why he disappears off to the, you know what I mean, to go and take a shower or go and shut the door and go to the bedroom just to woosah, you know what I mean, before he comes out. You know what I mean? It could literally just be he just needs time. That's how you process your day, you know, and that's okay. But once you're able to communicate that to your partner and help them to understand what's behind it, the context behind it, then you're then able to look at it from a different perspective, and you can say, okay, I get him. I get it. It's not my experience, but I can empathize. Wow, it must be a bit of a tough day, and you just need a minute. And you can respect that. And you then don't take it personal. Your face ain't squeezed. Do you know what I mean? And when he comes back and he's ready to rejoin you and be part, honey, how was your day? Great. Sounds simple though, doesn't it? The way how I explain it.
And funny enough, Juanita and I, we work around the same table. So, you know, in this, you know, whilst we're working in children's services, we are at home, people.
Oh, boy, yeah.
No joke, you know. But you know, we do all right. But what I do is, I would just say, right, I'm going for a walk, because there's nothing else we can do. You know, we're in lockdown, right? I go for a walk, and I don't care. Most of the time, I do not care what the weather is. I'm just gonna, if it gets to that place. But I've said to Juanita, look, I have to, my way of debriefing, calming down, letting the pressure out is to go for a walk. That's my thing. I will walk a mile, 2, 3, 4 miles. I just walk. Yeah. And when I walk, I let things go. I process. I think. That's my thing. That's my reflective time. Yeah. If I don't get it, there's a pressure building up. Yeah. And I take it, but I've said to her, I need it for this reason. I'm not, and not that she said this, but it could be interpreted as you're trying to escape me. But I'm
abandonment, rejection. Right. Some people might. This is what I'm saying in terms of how trying to understand how your behavior might be received by your partner, the impact. And it's about understanding their history and things like that, and you know, and how they may react and how they may see it. You know, they may see it as a form of abandonment and rejection, but actually it's not. You know what I mean? You just need to just take a bit of time out. But once you're able to understand that, then you know, then the energy within the relationship and between the two of you is completely different, because you can respect it. And even so, for example, where you said that you need to go for a walk and debrief, you know, if you don't, the pressure then starts to build. And when you're in a relationship with somebody, you're so interlinked, you're so linked, your energy, it's like there's a non-verbal communication going on between you. Yes. So Juanita will already know, I can see he needs to go for a walk. I can feel it, I can sense it. And you might not be doing anything in particular, but again, there's non-verbal communication going on between the both of you, and you've already worked it out. She's like, yeah, okay. Do you know what? I think you need to go for that walk. Go on. I'm all right here. I can take the fault here. You go for your walk. Do you understand? Just as a little example.
That's beautiful. That's lovely. And okay, so what we can do then, we can look at the third point, because I know they're all connected. So we looked at, and I didn't even type it in. Let me get it up there. What am I doing? I'm slacking. How to verbalize your need. Yeah, man. Banner show. So that's number 2. Yeah. How to verbalize your need. We have to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
And then number 3, as you're saying it, I'm gonna type it.
How do you incorporate that into your relationships, your individual needs within a relationship?
Wow, go on.
And that takes time. They all take time, to be honest. If you're coming from a place of he doesn't understand me, she doesn't understand me, and there's been a little bit, you know, of there's been a little bit of, difficult communication or it's been a difficult relationship because neither of you are able to understand each other's communication styles, or, you don't understand each other's particular needs within the relationship. It's very difficult, to go from 1 to 2 to 3. How do you now incorporate that into a relationship? So being able to verbalize it, first of all, you need to feel safe. You need to feel that your partner's going to be listening, active listening.
So it's like every time you bring up a certain topic, one of you could blow up.
Hey, faces squeeze, eyes are rolling.
Hands and everything, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can already sense that they're already getting a bit antsy. Do you know what I mean? As you're about to talk about it, you then don't feel safe to be able to express yourself. It's not safe.
Yeah.
Because you now are ready. Again, it's about the non-verbal communication that's going on between you, where you can sense that I'm going to get shut down. He ain't going to hear me. He's going to roll his eyes. He's going to think that I'm needy. He's going to think that, and then you then start to suppress what it is that you want to say. You're almost trying to find a way of saying it that waters down what it is that you really want to say, because you have to always be watching out for what their reaction's going to be. And that is that's painful if you don't feel safe to be able to express yourself, and, is it going to be taken seriously? Is he just going to dismiss how I'm feeling, or is he really going to take on what I'm saying? Is he really going to get it? Is he willing to invest the time to try and understand what it is that I'm actually saying? That takes time. But once you're able to overcome that difficulty and you create safety within the relationship where, everybody can just express themselves and be transparent and open and vulnerable, because it's about vulnerability. And you're able to do that and know that, your whatever it is that you're saying, even if they don't agree with it, which is fine, but it can still be respected, then you're able to kind of, operate from a place of safety, of security, and then it's like, okay, then we move to the next zone of, right, how can I then incorporate your needs, our needs? How do we then incorporate it into the relationship? So it might be things where you might have code words. So, for example, Curtis, you brought up, I need to go for a walk. You might have to say, yeah, I've got to go,
Code words. I get you. I thought you said cold. Yeah.
No, code, COD, code, because sometimes when the pressure's hot, especially when you've got kids and you're trying to manage children and working from home, you're being pressured by your bosses, your kids, and, all kinds. And, it's very, very difficult to be able to then tune into each other. And, you can get very short with each other unintentionally. There's a lot of pressure on. But how can you say, all right, give me a sign to let me know that, okay, we're now at a point where I need a timeout. Do you know what I mean? Give me a code. Just help me to understand that. It might be a case of, I need to do what I need to do. Could be a facial expression. It could be a message to say, I need a break, and that can mean, and that's how, you're able to kind of work that out between the two of you in terms of what works for you, in terms of how you then communicate that need. And then what will happen is that, it will have its bumps. It's never going to be perfect at first, and there might be times when you miss it and you lose the plot. As long as you're able to recognize where you may have made an error, everybody takes responsibility for their actions, takes responsibility for their part in the conflict. You can apologize, and then you can say, all right, what can we do to do it better? There's always a way. But like I said, it takes time. And the foundation of being able to incorporate these things into your relationship is safety, security, vulnerability, transparency. You need to be able to do that and feel secure.
I think that some of the most challenging elements of relationships, especially if you're married, it might not be obvious at first, but I think that vulnerability and transparency are two of the, not only, but two of the most challenging things, because it's easy. Some of us might find it easy to get physically naked, but to verbalize and articulate your deepest, or you know, fears, desires to the one that you said you love. Not everyone can do it.
Nakedness. That's the real nakedness, Curtis. That's the real nakedness. Getting physically naked is one level, but to get naked with your true self, your core self, that is a whole different, that's a whole different ball game. That's like, I'm not gonna be hiding myself in a tower. I'm bearing everything. So you get to see the wonderful parts of me, but you also get to see the not so great parts of me that even I'm, you know what I mean, struggle to.
Even I'm struggling with, yes.
You know? Yes. And you need to be able to show your partner that, and be able to show that part of yourself without fear that they're going to run away and say, no, son, can't take that one on. That's a bit, let's catch you on the rebound. No, you want to be able to do that and know that they can handle it. Same, you know, you with them as well. Can you really accept the real core person that you're dealing with? You know, can they bring their true self to you and you won't run a mile? You know,
do you know your partner's deepest? Yes or no?
That's a very interesting
and
one.
even when it comes to like sex, what's your fantasy? What do you want us to do? These are questions, because these are challenging. We've got to go in for that. And the question is, it's not whether you said it so much, it's whether I know, as your partner, do I know your fears? And if not, why not? And then it goes back to what you're saying now, safety. Because I'm afraid to tell you, because I don't know how you're going to react.
Absolutely. All of us, do you know something, Curtis? All of us just want to be accepted for who we are.
Wow.
That's all we want. We just want to be accepted, appreciated, loved, and valued for who we really are. That's all we want to do. We just want to be able to just be ourselves.
Yeah.
But can I be myself safely with you, you know what I mean, without having to kind of, you know, keep one eye open thinking, okay, does he think I'm crazy? Or, you know, can he really handle this? Or, you know what I mean? Or is he really thinking, this girl crazy? Do you know what I mean? That kind of thing. Can I really just bring you my ugly side when I'm, you know what I mean, when I'm moving hella reckless? And he's like, all right, you're moving mad, but you know something? I'm here, innit?
Yeah.
You know that one, yeah.
Saying.
Yeah.
Saying.
Yeah.
And not everybody has that. You know what? Something that stuck out for me from what you're saying was, can I am I willing to investigate? Push and prod deeper than the person's ready to go. But am I prepared during this communication journey as I evolve? Can I be prepared to, you know, ask questions like, why do you feel that way? Why does it make you feel like that? I just had a conversation with someone today, and she was just, for the first time in a long time, just being open about why. It's a family member. Why she's hidden her dysfunctions really well in life, but there are genuine reasons for them, and they all lead back to some type of abuse.
Yeah.
And not everybody's prepared to talk. It doesn't matter if you're married 50 years, you're not always prepared. In fact, a lot of our grandparents, they haven't even told their husbands that they've been abused. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So let's not think that we would necessarily more so. But her behaviors were rooted in past experiences. But the beautiful thing about it is that her husband is happy to talk about it at her pace. So he's not afraid he's happy to say, well, help me understand this.
That's containment.
Whoa.
That's containment. So he's able to manage, you know, having those really difficult conversations with her about past trauma, and he's able to contain it safely. So he's comfortable and skilled enough to be able to go there with her, knowing that it's a trauma, it's really tough. And when you're having to hear your loved one talk about, in this particular case, a past trauma, it hurts your heart to think, wow, that's what my partner went through, you know, and there was no there to protect them.
Yeah, sure.
But you're able, you know, you're able to manage it. You're able to give them the safe space to be able to talk about it as and when that they need to, but you're able to kind of make them feel secure that that time is over now. And I'm here today, and I'm here with you. I'm in it with you, and I'm here, and I'm not frightened, and I'm not going anywhere. That is containment.
That's
a beautiful thing.
I was going to say it's a powerful skill. It's a powerful skill. And the way you described it helps me make more sense of more work that I have to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm never going to come on this show, guys, and present like we got it together. One and I are doing really well, but we need to do better. And because to be content with where I'm at right now is a dangerous thing. The evolution is forever. You know what I'm saying? So that thing of containment is powerful. And I've learned as well, you know, over the years that we genuinely have to move, and it's difficult at times to move at the victim's the victim's pace.
Yeah.
So we have to have the grace and patience for that.
Yes, a lot of patience. A lot of patience, because it's not your lived experience, isn't it? It's not your lived experience. So when it's not your lived experience, you will see it from a different angle.
Yeah.
So it's like the ripple effect, isn't it? You throw the pebble in the water and the ripple goes out. You're that bit more removed. Right. The pebble that's dropped into the water, that's its lived experience. But obviously the impact, you know, the impact on everybody else is evident. But as a partner, you're going to be able to see things more objectively than your partner is, who was the one that was actually involved in it. When you weren't involved in it, when you weren't involved in whatever situation it is, do you know what I mean? You can always see it from a different angle. And I always say it. I always use a statement where I say, when you're in the picture, in the portrait, you can only see what's around you. But those who you trust, your loved ones who you really trust, they're outside of the picture and they can see the whole portrait. So they're able to see parts of the portrait that you can't see. It's your blind spot. You're not supposed to see. It's a blind spot, isn't it? That, you know, when you can only see so much. But those that you trust that are looking at the picture face on, they can see everything. Not to say that they always get it right, because like I said, it's not their lived experience, but they're able to maybe offer, you know, other perspectives, different types of perspectives to consider, you know, just to form, you know, oh, actually, maybe this, and it's a gentle way of challenging, isn't it? Challenging your thoughts and your feelings. And that's good. That's okay, as long as it's done in, you know what I mean, in a positive and encouraging way.
Absolutely. It's been powerful, man. We're coming near the end. We're not there yet. But what I would like you to do, and it's off the cuff now. It's off the cuff. I would like you to throw one. I know you've given us 3 tips. So I don't know if this is a fair question. Let me ask you. If you had to throw one, or your number one piece of advice or tip regarding communication and relationships.
Oh.
Throw it.
Okay. I would encourage couples to listen, to understand, and not to respond, and listen with loving ears. That's not easy if it feels like you're the one that's being attacked and you have to sit there and listen to your partner and you're feeling they're murking me, they're trying to murk me, they're trying to... No, try and listen with loving ears and try to hear, to understand. And that's not an easy thing to do.
Is that your number one tip? Like, isn't there... I need a magic pill.
No, there ain't no magic pill, Curtis. If you find a magic pill, give it to me and I'll sell it.
You'll be charging for it.
I'm charging, mate. I'm charging. It's hard. You have to get really vulnerable. This is what I'm saying about, you know, people talk about love being easy. No, actually, it's very, very tough, because love requires you to go beyond your comfort zone. I'm not saying abuse, you know?
No, we know what you're talking about.
Love requires you to go beyond your comfort zone, what you're comfortable with. And that is really important, because it helps you to start to uproot, to understand, to learn different parts of yourself that you will never know when you're in your comfort zone.
So me being more patient, listening more, is actually self-development.
Absolutely.
And gaining more self-knowledge. I'm going to learn something more about me in the process of helping you.
Yeah. When you're listening to try and understand, yeah, you're then trying to build empathy skills. Yeah, you're trying to understand somebody else's lived experience. That's empathy. It's about trying to step into somebody else's shoes. Yeah. And that can be really, really difficult if, depending on your view of the world. And your view of the world is going to be, is going to be largely influenced by what you've experienced, what you've learned, along the way, as a child and things like that. So sometimes learning to listen, to understand, it can be really triggering for you, because it brings up some things maybe from the past, in that you might feel you're in that defense mechanism, that defense mode, because no one's ever protected you. So it's difficult for you to listen, to understand somebody else's experience. But actually, that is the very thing that you need to do, to be able to try and step out of yourself a little bit and try to kind of hold on a second. Let me just try and understand what it is that they're saying. Maybe they're not actually dissing me. Maybe it's something that I actually could learn from. Maybe it's something that, that's going to be helpful for me. Maybe they're not actually trying to attack me.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean? That's a really difficult thing to do, And this is why I always say the work always begins and ends with you. It's never about the other person. It always begins and ends with you.
100.
Be the change that you want to see. You say, oh, my partner, I want him to do this. I want, Are you doing that? Are you doing that for you?
100%. 100%. Listen, you're giving us food. I know whoever heard this today will have more tools. And that was really the plan, in that people could hear, anyone listening to this would immediately be able to just go away and just put at least one of those points into practice, because one leads to the other anyway. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Anytime.
If now you said anytime, right?
Hey,
now, right?
I've got love for you and Juanita, innit? So
okay, we got exclusive access to Kelly. Now listen, this is the thing. Kelly's which she mentioned it before, and Kelly is a therapist. You give couple therapy. Am I grammatically correct in my speaking? You are a marriage counselor. Can we say that?
marriage, no, because I'm integrative, so I do individuals and couples.
Kelly, look, let me hand it over to you. And I'm gonna, you know, this is where you can find Kelly, right on here. Kelly, tell us what you do again, where we can find you, where's the best place to find you if we need help for ourselves. You know, come on, Kelly, talk to me.
Oh gosh, so I'm an integrative therapist. So I use different types of methods when working with clients. I work with individuals and I work with couples. You can find me on Instagram at Inner Transitions. Many people will DM me, and you know, I get back to them as soon as possible. Yeah, and people can ask me questions. Some people have asked me for my number so that they can speak to me, and you know, just to kind of get a little bit more of an understanding in terms of what it is that they're looking for, to see if I'm able to offer that. You know, I might signpost them to, you know, to another therapist, depending on the particular types of needs that they are. But yeah, I'm very approachable. You can always DM me and I will answer, and we can arrange to have a phone call session where if you want to just try and, you know, just try and find out a little bit more about counselling. I've had a lot of people that have not had counselling before that just want to talk to me, just to get a feel for me, to see whether they think that they will feel comfortable. And that's perfectly fine. I think that's important to do that. So, yeah.
At Inner Transitions. Kelly, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Curtis.
No, that's cool. We're going to be seeing each other again and again. Kelly, you've been on our show on This Is Marriage UK about what, 4 times now. So, you know, you're in the family well and truly. So I just want to say to you guys, please share this platform. If you want to let your friends know that if they want to access these videos, they need to subscribe to Patreon to support what we're doing. It's a small cost. But again, if you want that real in-depth professional support, you know where to go. It's to the banner right down there. God bless you all. We'll see you soon.